Hello, my friends and fellow hair enthusiasts. Welcome back. Or should I say, welcome, friends and fellow hair and hair science enthusiasts. I love all the possibilities in hairstyling. Not only can you change the way that the world perceives someone by changing their hair, but you can also change the way that they perceive themselves. In order to do this, I feel like you have to understand the tools of your trade in order to execute the vision that you have. One of the things I get asked all the time is about taking very dark hair, very light. Like taking hair that's naturally very dark and getting it very light. Because oftentimes when people try to bleach their hair that's this dark, they end up with something like this. Or maybe if they're lucky, something like this. But what does it really take to get hair super duper light? Different types of hair take different amounts of time to lighten. However, when it comes down to it, dark hair is dark hair, and there's only so much difference you can get. You just have to use the proper products for the proper amount of time. So the question I'm going to answer today is, how do you get hair that is very dark to turn very light? Once you get that hair light, you're going to need to come back and balance the warmth. You're always going to have warmth left over like this. But this is certainly a better starting point than this. If we try to tone this hair to look like a beautiful blonde, there's only so much you can do until you get it this light, and then you can tone it into that super ultra pale blonde that a lot of people are looking for. So how do we get it this light? Time. It is all about time and timing. Now, if somebody has previous color in their hair, that changes all the rules, and it may be extremely difficult or impossible to ever get it this light again. Hair grows an average of ½ inch a month, so eventually that hair is going to grow out and you'll have untreated hair again. But all that stuff on the ends, sometimes it just can't get light again. This is just assuming you've never had color in your hair. So when I studied for the American Board of Certified Hair Colorists, one of the things I had to prepare was this board to demonstrate how long it took hair to get light. If you've seen any of my videos before, you've probably heard me say slow and low is the way to go when it comes to lifting. A lower volume developer is going to preserve the integrity of the hair far better than a higher volume developer. If you watched my video on where I tested 130 volume against 20 volume with these swatches right here, you'll know I asked the question, hey, do you want to see this hair under a microscope so we can kind of compare the integrity of it? Well, I've got my microscope, that video is coming, but in the meantime, we're just going to assume that we're using a lower volume developer. You don't have to use 10, you could use 20, and in some cases 30. I really don't like taking someone totally blonde with 40 volume. I just don't believe it's necessary. So you can see my starting level on this swatch, very dark, and you can see the timing involved with these. It only took a couple minutes to begin lightening the hair, which can give us sort of false hope. Then it took within 20 minutes, we were much, much lighter, about as much lift as you can get in an hour of processing with a permanent color. But after an hour, which is the typical processing time for most lighteners, this is where I got to. But I wanted to get to there. So after an hour, what happens is essentially the lightener runs out of gas and you need to fill up the tank again. So what I did is reapplied lightener right on top of that other one. I did not rinse it out or anything for these. I just reapplied lightener right on top of the old lightener. The new lightener mixed up with the new developer was like filling up the tank, and it was able to keep lightening. And about every hour I came back and applied new lightener, just right on top of the old stuff. Once it started to get built up, I took my color brush and kind of scraped it off. But really, I did not rinse it out because water damages the hair as well. And to rinse and then dry or to lighten wet hair, it's not the best thing for the hair. The only way I want to wet the hair is with the lightener. Reapply every hour, and you'll see in an hour and a half I got to this point. And in this case, 10 years ago, this was with Wella Blondor. It took me 4 hours and 20 minutes. So if I reapplied every hour, that means I applied lightener with 20 volume 5 times on hair this level in order to get it that light. All in the same day, all without rinsing. Now, if I had done 40 volume 5 times in the same day, this hair swatch would not have lasted this long. But literally, this hair is 10 years old. And of course, I mean, it's been sitting on a shelf for the last 10 years. It's not like it's been out in the weather like somebody's hair would be. But you can see that the integrity of the hair is still intact. So what's happening here? Lightener, how do I put this? I know I'm kind of mixing metaphors here, and I mentioned how the lightener was like putting gas in the tank. But both lightener and developer will lighten the hair. Think of them both as a vehicle, if you will. And I need either one is going to get me eventually to where I want to go. But it's like they're both two-wheel drive vehicles. If I mix lightener with water, it will make the hair lighter, just not super effectively. If I put just developer on the hair, it will make the hair lighter, but not super effectively. And if we mix them together, then they work off of each other and they lighten the hair super effective. Kind of like now we just took a two two-wheel drive vehicles and put them together and made a four-wheel drive. I don't know. I don't have a four-wheel drive. That's not how they work, really. How do I say this? In any case, the lightener and the developer need to work together. Once the developer has been mixed with the lightener, it starts to give away that extra oxygen molecule that's in the H2O2. It only has so much oxygen to give up, and it takes about an hour for that reaction to basically fully take place. There's still a little bit there, and it still does work very, very slowly, but maybe a little bit too slowly if you just leave it on there the whole time. So we got to keep that reaction going. We need to keep adding oxygen to the mix. And this is, of course, you know, with all the other things, if you think the hair is healthy enough, using professional judgment. If there's no previous color, all of those things complicate it. But bottom line is, no lightener is going to get hair this dark to this light just within an hour without adding heat. When you add heat, that accelerates the process, but that's also very bad for the hair and very dangerous for your scalp. So stay tuned for that one. Now that I've showed you some of these swatches, I've kind of given you a little bit of a preview into my next Blonde Solutions video a while back. If you watched part 1, I just compared Blonde Solutions to another lightener and kind of drew my conclusions after processing for 1 hour. For part 2, I tested multiple swatches and I went ahead and processed them both for the amount of time that it would take to actually get the hair blonde, to see if I could see a difference between the Blonde Solutions toner and Wella's Blondor. But you're going to have to tune in next week for that one. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you saw and you want to see some more, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. Feel free to share with any of your nerdy friends. Click the subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Let me know what else you want to hear about. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.